It's 5:50 on the morning of day 17, heading out from camp. As always, the first one out. The plan is only 19 miles today. I mentioned last night that I was going to try and push a little bit more miles to be able to take the bus into town at 11 on Monday, but realistically there's not good campsites after 19 if I don't commit to like at minimum another 6 miles beyond that, and even one that's mentioned at 24 miles is in a wash with no wind protection, and it's been really windy. There's actually been high wind advisory, so probably not the best option. And also, if I push ahead, I'm going to get ahead of the group. It doesn't really matter. We're all going to walk out of the Sierra together and plan to enter Kenny Meadows, walk in on the 20th together. So it doesn't really matter if I push ahead. So I'm going to do 19 with the group today. Well, to the camp with the group today, hike my own day. But something that was really frustrating is that my pad was leaking last night. My sleeping pad that is blow up. I only ever have used it inside a tent with a ground sheet, so that shouldn't be happening. It has all the levels of protection it needs. So I'm hoping it's just dirt in the nozzle that's preventing it from sealing all the way tight. So fingers crossed for that, but I'll wash the nozzle at a spring today. And there might be a little pond, depending how clean it is. I might inflate my pad and put it under the water to see if there's any air bubbles, make sure there's not a hole. That depends how clean the little pond is, but at very minimum I can wash the nozzle out and make sure it's not dirt that's preventing it from being able to seal all the way. But fingers crossed, because if my air mattress has a hole, I do have a patch kit, but those things cost another like $200 or so, which I'll do if I need to be comfortable, but I'd rather not have to replace an item of gear less than 3 weeks into the trail.
Least convenient height for 3. Ow! Fuck.
I think this has been my favorite little section of trail so far in terms of the vegetation. Green undergrowth that isn't all foxtails, wooded, and just generally pretty. Mile 600. Of course, that's for everyone who started at Campo at the Mexican border. As I did not, I am at somewhere around mile 230, 231. Still awesome, and I forgot to even I didn't even recognize that I passed 200 miles the other day. But congratulations to everyone else. I have a half mile left to get to the spring at 6:03.3, and this has 100% been my favorite morning on trail so far. The vegetation has just been beautiful. It doesn't feel like the Southern California we've been experiencing, where it's just exposed and sandy. And I've been flying. By the time I get to the spring, I'll have finished 9.2 miles in 3 hours. So slightly faster than 3 miles per hour, and have gained 2,400 feet in those 9 miles. So feeling pretty happy, feeling strong. Definitely a great way to start my day. Sorry. Back on trail and moving after spending 3 hours at the shade in the spring. I think I mentioned earlier, but I'm not going to try and push more miles to get the bus into town on Monday, because that would separate me from my group, and I want to stay with them, because among other things, I mean, I like hanging out with them, they're fun, and also I want a group I trust heading to the Sierras, and so I'm gonna head in with this group. A couple exciting things. Chad just found out he can get time off to come see me after our first 8-day stretch in the Sierra, so he'll be able to he'll be able to help get us in from town and then be there to celebrate my 30th birthday. So that'd be awesome to see him again. At the spring, I also washed off the nozzle of my air mattress, and then inflated it. Now, the reason I wash off the nozzle is sometimes there can be dirt in the nozzle that stops it from sealing 100%, in case that was the cause of my air leakage last night. And at this point, I'm unsure if the air pad was still leaking and if I'm dealing with a hole. But according to comments, there's a water source in 3.5 miles where there's a 2-foot deep pool of clear water. So I'll inflate my air pad again there, submerge it underwater, and look for bubbles to see if it's leaking. Yeah, I was able to enjoy a nice long break because after getting to that spring, I only have 9.9 miles left to go in the day, just because of campsite availability, and then just the group, we're doing 19.1 miles for the day, so have plenty of time to take a long rest. It's not quite ideal water, but I can put my pad in there and see if I see any bubbles. Update on my pad dilemma. I tried pushing under that pool of water. I didn't see any bubbles, but I don't know if it was because I was too impatient or because there actually isn't a leak and it was just that the nozzle was dirty. So I will just basically just evaluate how it goes tonight, and go from there. And if I need to replace, well, if there's a leak, I will want to replace it. If I can find the hole, I can patch it temporarily. But my other options for replacing it would be having it ordered from REI and paying for fast shipping for it to get to Kenny Meadows by the 20th, or depending how fast or slow the leak is and how much I want to deal with it. Instead of paying for shipping to Kenny Meadows, I can just wait until Chad meets up with me after our 8-day stretch in Kenny Meadow in the Sierra, which would be about 2 weeks from now. So first things first, just see how it goes tonight. Made it to camp at mile 613.2 at the end of day 17. Today we did 19.1 miles with about 3,700 feet of climbing. It is 4:30, well, it was 4:30 by the time I got to camp and started setting up. And as always, I'm the first one here. Feeling good. My feet were a little bit sore today. I'm not sure if it's because of the long water carry yesterday plus the elevation climbing, but nothing painful. Actually, my arch that was giving me a little bit of pain going into Tehachapi is feeling so much better. I've been using massage ball every night and during breaks, and then I switched to different inserts with more arch support. So last night into today we had our longest water carry of 20 miles, and it went phenomenally. I probably need to be drinking more water because I had carried 5 liters and only ended up drinking 3.5 liters by the time I got to the water source this morning. So I definitely need to work on drinking more. So with that in mind, I did carry 4 liters to camp today. The water source was about 5 miles south, and then the next water source about 4 miles north. So it was only a 9-mile section with dry camping. If I haven't said already, dry camping is where we camp not at a water source. And so typically for 9 miles with dry camping, I'd only carry 3, but I carried an extra liter in the hopes that I drink it tonight to make sure that I stay hydrated. As a side note, one thing I don't think really mentioned so far is that I'm still don't have enough appetite and struggling to eat my calories every day. So I've typically been eating anywhere from 16 to 1,800 calories. Today I still have one last meal, but it is my favorite meal of the day. It's mashed potatoes with a package of pulled pork and barbecue sauce. So I'm pretty confident that I'll eat that today, which will make this my first day where I've eaten my whole daily allotment of food as I planned, which would be around somewhere between 2,000 and 2,200 calories, which is, I still should be eating more, but it's an improvement and I'll take what I can get. Here is my campsite. Hopefully being in this little brushed area will help with the wind and that my air mattress stays pumped up. And here is the area where everyone will be camping, and supposedly there is a great sunset and sunrise. I'm assuming if you climb up on that rock there. I don't know if I'll be filming later, so if not, good night. Good morning from day 18. Slept really well last night, despite the wind. Basically, I haven't slept with my rain fly for about a week because when it's been windy, and when you sleep with the rain fly, obviously stops the wind from going through and causes the tent to flap, and actually also cause the tent to bend more with the wind. So I just sleep without it and sleep really, really well. It's 6 o'clock, as is my habit. No specific plan for today. There's water caches maintained by Trail Angels at mile 617 and 632. And for reference, we camped at 603. Our goal is by the end of the next 2 days to get to mile marker 652. We camped at 613, I'm sorry. So 39 miles to get to over the next 2 days to get to mile marker 652. So that Tuesday morning we can go into Ridgecrest, get an additional couple days of food before heading to Kenny Meadows. So maybe not camp with the family today. We're kind of gonna get to the cache at 632, which is about 18.8 miles from where we are today, and then see if there's good campsites there, or see if I need to go another 3 miles further and make it a 22-mile day. Just knowing any miles I go further today will be less I have to walk tomorrow, but that I'll still be waiting until Tuesday to hitch into town. So no specific plan. Water in 4 miles. There's a siesta spot at 11 miles under a tree because today is going to be more exposed per comments than yesterday was. So we'll just see how it goes. As for my pad, definitely has a hole in it. Unfortunately, it wasn't just dirt in the nozzle. I had to wake up 3 times in the middle of the night to blow it back up. So I'll be ordering a new one to Kenny Meadows. I was hoping if it did have a leak, it was slow enough that I could just wait till Chad came to meet up with me, but I don't want to wake up 3 times a night for the next 2 weeks, so I'll just order one to Kenny Meadows and I can have my old one mailed back so it can be returned to REI. Made it to 617, about 4 miles into the day, and here is the water cache that is maintained by, I think, someone named Devilfish. So these are all full waters. The only ones that are empty are tied against the fence there. And then this one over here has a little spigot. Less than an hour to our siesta spot. That'll be about 11.5 miles into the day. Just want to say, I think over the last 4 or 5 days, I've really gotten my hiker legs. Even when I'm taking it easy or feel like I'm going slow, I still am generally hiking 2.75 to 3 miles an hour, and it feels easy. I feel strong, and so I'm really happy. It took me about 2 weeks to get my hiker legs. That doesn't mean, you know, my pack still feels heavy when I walk out of town or carry a lot of water. Like, I'll always feel that weight. My legs feel stronger and are carrying me easier, and it's a nice feeling. Made it to the siesta spot. This Joshua tree and its shade will be where we rest for a couple hours, eat second breakfast or first lunch. Still feeling great. It's 10:15. Just gonna hang out here for a while. The wind and the sand today provide us extra challenges, which is helping with our resistance training. This next mile is not going to be enjoyable. Not sure how well it shows. Trail goes up, just straight up there. Made it to camp, 18.8 miles. I'm camped, well, we are going to be camped, I'm the only one here right now, but we're going to be camped at a water cache. Same person who maintains the one earlier today maintains this one. It's at mile 632. If you can't hear in the background, it is very, very windy. I am currently sitting right here because it's shaded, but my tent is on the other side of this rock, so it has some wind protection. But it'll still be a very, very windy night. But thankfully there was service at this location where I could place an order for a new sleeping pad to be delivered to Kennedy Meadows. It'll be delivered on the 19th, so in just a couple days, and we'll be walking to Kennedy Meadows on the 20th. A little bit irritated, if I haven't said already, I've only used this pad less than 25 times. It's always been used in a tent, and the tent always has a ground sheet, so there shouldn't be any reason for it to be leaking. I can't find a puncture hole. I've squeezed it in every direction, trying to listen for air leakage. I submerged underwater and couldn't find bubbles, and yet I still had to wake up 3 times last night to blow it up. So it's a little bit frustrating. So my plan is to have ordered the new one, and then when I get to Kennedy Meadows, I'll ship this one back home to Chad to return to REI. So I'll have to pay more in shipping costs, and it's a little bit extra frustrating because I was trying to save money when I first got the pad and bought it during a Labor Day sale when it was 30% off. So I just had to buy it at full price, so I moved out that money. But ultimately, you know, these things happen on the trail, and the sleeping pad is an important part of me staying warm and comfortable at night. So obviously it's worth it. It's just a little bit frustrating, but I only have to survive with this one and waking up and blowing up in the middle of the night for another 4 more nights, I believe, and then we'll be in Kennedy Meadows and my new one will have arrived, and I can switch to one that I don't have to wake up in the middle of the night to blow up.
but I'm feeling really good. It was very windy and very sandy today, so that made it a little bit harder of a hike. Imagine walking on the beach, of course, with sand. But going up and down hills and carrying a 30-pound backpack was a little bit more tiring than it has been in the past, but still very easy day. I was just telling someone at lunch today, my trail legs really kicking in. I'm feeling good and smooth while hiking. The plan will be for tomorrow, we'll do about a 20.5 mile day to Walker Pass campground, and then the next morning, Tuesday morning, we'll hitch into Ridgecrest, not to stay the night or anything like that. We're going to do what's called a hero, where you hitch in and hitch out on the same day. And basically we just need to go in, get food for the 50 remaining miles to Kenny Meadows, and then probably grab real food at a Denny's or McDonald's or something while we are in town. But hopefully we hitch in and get back on trail before noon, so we can still have a good portion of the day to hike. This is my second lunch or first dinner, whatever you want to say. Again, I eat typically 1 to 2 miles after starting. I just have a meal replacement protein bar. Then I eat something else at between 10 and 11, and then I eat something else between 2 and 3, and then I have dinner later. So basically always snacking. This ramen, I've switched from the typical top ramen to the couple ramens. A little bit more expensive, but obviously still cheap and more flavor. So I'm liking those. I started cold soaking this about 20 minutes ago, and it's already sunk.